up, besties? Something has just happened that we've got to talk about. The story has just fucking broke, and people are literally like eating this up. And oh my god, whenever I saw this, I was 100% shocked, because this is involving someone with Jeffree Star that we've almost became so used to Jeffree being around that it's almost just like an entity of Jeffree. Now, wait, like, this story, like I said, like, people have been talking about this, and it's just like, dun dun dun, now, and my DMs have been going, and I was like, holy shit, I need to talk about this, and I need to tell the besties about this, and that's what I'm gonna do. So, okay, whew, Jesus, okay, calm. Jeffree Star has a personal assistant, called Madison. Now, if you know anything about Jeffree Star, you know that Madison was the be-all end-all involved in everything. Like, after every single scandal, he would always post, like, videos and stuff that Madison would be into. For example, in summer, when Shane Dawson and Jeffree were getting exposed, Jeffree was seen posting videos on his Instagram story with him and Madison in the pool, like, flexing and all like this, you know, avoiding that was before the Doing What's Right video, avoiding addressing things and, you know, being so unbothered and unproblematic. So, Madison has strategically always been involved in these controversies and the, like, Jeffree being unbothered in the aftermath. So you'll probably know her through that way. If you don't know her by just saying her name or seeing her face, you will know by looking at these videos that every time he gets exposed, him and Madison will always be doing something that they'll post about to distract and be like, we are so unbothered, darling. We are the two sisters, you know what I mean? So, for example, if you don't know what Madison looks like, this is who Madison is, right here. This is the personal assistant of Jeffree Star. Now, I, for one, could never be a personal assistant of Jeffree Star, because it would literally just be getting him Red Bulls and picking up the shite from them little yappy dogs. Like, and like wiping down pink fluff off of his, you know, suits. That does not sound fun. No. So this is Madison as well. So they've been together now for years upon years, and she was very included in the Shane Dawson series, you know, the two, with Jeffree Star, so you've probably seen her through that way. And they've actually filmed so many YouTube videos together as well, which for being like a personal assistant was a bit weird, but okay, I get it. So anyway, Madison has allegedly either been fired or left Jeffree Star. Now, we're gonna read out a little statement, but they have both unfollowed each other, which is a really big deal, and people always pass that off as, oh, it's just social media, you know, you can just unfollow anyone. Bitch, if you literally, like, the amount of people that, like, you unfollow is probably very, like, limited throughout, like, the month period. So whenever you do it, you have a reason, bitch. And the fact that they were so fucking lovey-dovey, and then now this, and then with the new transition on what Jeffree's doing with his career, and what Jeffree's doing with, like, just his personal life as well, and his content, it's very interesting. Remember, he's moving to Wyoming, and that could have a big factor, and that's actually what we're going to read out. Again, we have a statement, but I'm just, like, going through the fact that this is really big news, because Madison has so much fucking dirt on Jeffree, whether you want to admit it or not. We don't even need to say whether you admit it or not, because we know it. She's literally been involved like Nate has, even throughout that relationship and before, and, like, she knows everything. So whenever that happens, and whenever you're a person like Jeffree Star, who has so much to lose and is such an allegedly shady person behind the scenes, this can go down really messy. And so, y'all, okay, so these are the two. Now we're gonna get to the statements that we have been told. So this is from Reddit. So there is like a Jeffree Star Cosmetics, like, subreddit, and someone said, what happened with Maddie? Now, so basically, Jeffree and Maddie unfollowed each other. I'm saying Maddie, not Manny. No Manny MUA shout. We've been past that. This is Maddie. Jeffree and Maddie unfollowed each other on Instagram, and now this is on her Instagram story. So, she's already posting, you know, like those middle-aged women do, like, quotes on Facebook when they're trying to be shady, but, like, it doesn't hit because they do, like, a minion picture beside it? Now, you know what I'm on about. You know what I mean? Middle-aged women have a way where they take to Facebook for their little wine grips and they post, like, shady-ass posts, and then we'll post, like, a minion picture. This is what this feels like, and it's, like, starting to, like, get messy already. And whenever you're a personal assistant, like, it's pretty much a given that you would sign, like, an NDA, or you would sign, like, your life away if it's Jeffree Star, you know what I mean? So, if Nate hasn't spoken up now, and didn't do anything, didn't literally allude to anything, and Maddie is already, like, being a little bit shady, it's quite interesting. And the fact they've unfollowed each other, like, keep in mind, Nate and Jeffree had followed each other for a while after. And then, remember, Nate actually deleted his social media, so they never unfollowed each other. So Maddie doing this They must have ended on bad terms, allegedly, in my opinion, just from looking at this, and for that to happen, and for her to have the amount of information she does, like, damn. Remember the thing that happened with Andre, like, the boyfriend Jeffree Star had? Obviously, allegedly, there wasn't any NDAs involved there because that got messy and that was a full fucking drama. Now, Maddie would also know how Jeffree responds to controversies, but also, if he's voluntarily getting into them and him calling people out, could you imagine the text messages she has? Remember, Ashley Kyle made a video in which she came forward as a drama channel saying that she was on Jeffree Star's payroll and that Jeffree was feeding her information, and Jeffree was like calling James out saying that he was dead between the eyes, or behind the eyes, not between the eyes, that's like this area, I mean behind the eyes, and that he was like a soulless person, and people were coming forward, and like, if Jeffree was doing that to a drama channel, literally a drama channel, who he was not a friend to at all, he was literally just using them, could you imagine the amount of stuff that this Madison girl, no that's not her name, Maddie, has? Take that in a second. Now let's get to the statement, you ready? Okay, so, theories, speculation. Someone wrote this and it is rated at the top. Jeffree is now a part-time resident of Wyoming, which he's made very clear. Remember? That was what got me blocked off of his Twitter. He posted a picture and was like, it's Miss Wyoming to you, and it was him driving. And I said, next stop, community service in jail, and he obviously didn't like it because he blocked me. Now, Jeffree is now part resident of Wyoming and now must spend a certain amount of time there, which I didn't know you had to do, but I mean, if you're a resident, I would assume so. I thought, no. Okay. I didn't know that. I think he may even want to start claiming residency there so he can get the state's tax benefits. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I think he may want to start claiming the tax residence benefits. What does that mean? Y'all, we're not like the smartest on this channel. Speaking for me. What does that mean? Does that mean like he gets money off or something? Like a voucher? Like a coupon? What does that mean? Hold on, let me start again. Jeffree is now a part-time resident of Wyoming, we know, and now must spend a certain amount of time there, which I didn't know. I think he may even want to start claiming residency there so he can get the state's tax benefits. I do not know what that means or what that entails. Okay, we'll go on. I think it's possible that Maddie didn't want to delegate a substantial amount of time to living in Wyoming on top of everything else. No, but if Jeffree was calling Maddie his family, surely he would have taken that into consideration. Like, these people don't say that they're friends or they're colleagues. They literally say that they're family, so if you cared enough about your family, surely you would take into consideration that as a personal assistant, your life is their life. And so if you just want to move across town or whatever, it's a bit hard and unrealistic to expect that of someone. Especially Maddie being like a woman who's probably late 20s? I don't know her age, but I would assume late 20s, like maybe 30s, you know what I mean? I think it's possible that Maddie didn't want to, you know, delegate a substantial amount of time. Now, the thing is on that, her and Jeffree were always working out of LA and they were going like flights and places, so that makes sense. And like moving to somewhere, like they go on like their private jets to places, right? But they never move there. It's probably like a period of 2 weeks or maybe going on vacation, so it's interesting and definitely a point that could, you know, be the truth. So let's go on. On top of everything else she's doing, being a personal assistant pretty much means you don't really get to have a personal life. This seems like such a dull job, and especially doing that for Jeffree Star. Fucking hell. And I think it's a lot that people don't want to move from being on a certain point in her life. So, you know, she doesn't want to have to, you know, pack up and do that whenever she could have just done it from here and, you know, gone on trips, which is completely understandable. Disclaimer, we only see people's public personas, which is very true. We have no idea how they are in their personal life. Who knows? It could have ended on a great note and they just needed to not look at each other for a bit. Or, I think it's kind of surprising that they go as far, you know, I'm gonna say Jafar Sprinkles. But I think it's kind of surprising that they would go as far to unfollow each other when the mute feature is now an option for Instagram. And that's what I'm saying! Whenever you unfollow someone, that is literally so petty. That is you making a fucking point. So the fact that they've done that, I'm like, what? I'm like, y'all were involved in each other's life for so long as well, and like, literally Jeffree knows that anything he does can get looked at under a microscope, so him doing this to Maddie, literally probably the only consistent person in his life at this stage other than Shane Dawson. I mean, don't blame the other people, he's incredibly horrible, allegedly, fucking, from the things we hear online on public platforms, but it's like, for someone who's been in your life and so consistent and you've praised and they're your family or whatever, they work for you but they're your family, it's a bit wild that they would both unfollow, because that's strategic as well, whether you want to say it. Unfollowing each other at the same time, that's a planned thing. It's like, who does it first as well? Like, do y'all know who fucking unfollowed who first? Because I want to fucking know, because I think that says everything. If Madison unfollowed... Is that her name? Madison? Well, she's Maddie, yeah. If Maddie unfollowed, you know, Jeffree first, that's her taking a stance back and Jeffree being petty and unfollowing back, which she did with Morgan Adams back in summer. Or, if it's Jeffree unfollowing her, that's like... You know what I mean? So, either way, not good. Now, Maddie actually posted something on her Instagram, which is what started this after she unfollowed anyway. Now, keep in mind, after she unfollowed, the story was already starting to get kicked up because people were like, something is going on here. So, obviously, Maddie knows as well, because she's been involved in her controversies with Jeffree and experiencing them, that anything she posts as well will now be looked at. So, she posted on her story with, like, you know, like a praising or fucking making it louder or whatever, you know, like, doo-doo-doo, like that. That was very lame of me. I'm so sorry. She put on, believe it or not, there isn't a single person you need in this life more than yourself. Put her first. So, just a very simple thing, and that being put together with this unfollowing Jeffree, people are obviously making their speculations, and I mean, it doesn't really seem like speculations if they've unfollowed each other, because for people who have been so professionally together as well, unfollowing, keep in mind, imagine Shane Dawson unfollowed Jeffree now, or imagine Jeffree Star unfollowed Shane Dawson now. Okay, that's a huge story within itself, right? But then on top of that, imagine Shane Dawson puts on a story that, put yourself first, or Jeffree says, you know, put yourself first. Of course we know what that entails and what that means. We're not fucking dumb, whether people want to say that or not. So it's like, oh my god, so I don't know what happens now. And it's like, who wants to be Jeffree Star's PA? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, but if that's you, I'm going to be looking at you in a very shady way. Really? Not that. But guys, if you want to be his personal assistant, this could be you. Do you want this to be you? Do you want to be involved with all that fraud? Let me ask the audience. This is gonna get messy. This is a big story, and it's like, so much has just been going wrong for Jeffree this year, whether you want to say it or not, right? And like, losing that person who has all the intel and information on him. Now, people think Maddie's gonna come forward. I don't know if she will. I think she would be paid off long before she would ever want to do that. And she knows the ins and outs of Jeffree's legal proceedings after people speak out against him, because she's been the one to deal with it. Keep in mind that if he wants to come after her, she's been the person who's, you know, sorted out Jeffree coming after other people, so she knows the proceedings, so maybe that's a factor on why she would possibly speak out. But guys, allegedly, she's not working for him anymore. I mean, they've unfollowed each other on Instagram, and she's doing the little shady put yourself first. So, I mean, and especially put yourself first whenever you're a personal assistant, because literally when you're a personal assistant, you put that person before yourself, because that's your job, that's why you get your paycheck. She was his PA for a long ass time. And it's like, what was the breaking point? Was it the Wyoming? Was it something else? Will we ever know? I fully believe, I'm putting it down now, that Jeffree Star is going to make a video. This story is going to blow up. It's continuing to, so I believe he will. He's going to do a video talking about it, that they parted their different ways, and it's just going to be like that. And then that's whenever the stories start coming out, because he always is like, yeah, we're just going different ways, and then the stories, you know, come out. Same thing happened with Nate. Same thing happened with Andre. So, guys, what do you think? One last time, come on. One last fucking time. What do we think? What do we think? Jeffree is now a part-time resident of Wyoming and now must spend a certain amount of time there. I think he may even want to start claiming the residency tax, fucking benefits there, so that, you know, it would help him out. I think it's possible that Maddie didn't want to have to delegate a substantial amount of time to living in Wyoming on top of everything else. Being a PA pretty much means you don't get to have a personal life of your own, and I think it's a lot of things that she didn't want to have to do that. Disclaimer, we only see people's public personas. Again, true. We have no idea how they are in their private life. Who knows, it could have ended on a really great note and they just need to be away from each other. But it's kind of surprising that they would go as far to unfollow each other. Yep. So, I'm sure we'll hear more from this. Again, this is a developing story. You're in on this, and congratulations, bestie! I feel like we came over in a sleepover and we just talked about like something that is happening in this moment. So, I want to know what your opinion is. Let's talk about this. Shady, shady, shady. Like, who's going to apply to be his PA now, you know what I mean? And can you imagine the person who has to fill that role, how much information they are going to need to like caught up on. And also, can they catch someone up like that? Like, they trust Maddie, so if they were to bring someone else on, they would have to catch them up with a bunch of really shady information, which you're aware of, because they'd be dealing with like his money and stuff, and we're aware he's, you know, a little bit shady in that respect. But like, would they be able to trust someone enough to do that? I think this is going to put him in a really hard position. We will be watching. You know what I mean? See you in my next one. Bye.